It's just a really quick overview of some tricks that I've learned with this Garmin GPS map 66i. I'm getting ready to do, this is for a motorcycle trip. So this is just really basic how to use the routes, the off-road routes, how to use a little bit of the features on the GPS, and the very basic setup to get you going and set out on a trail. So one thing that's definitely really useful for a GPS like this is to have it on a mount. So definitely have a mount. For me, it's going to be mounted to my handlebars, and I can always see it. I can see the route. I always keep it pretty zoomed in. You might be able to see right here the range. I like to keep it on 0.8 if I'm going like a long distance and I know there's not a turn, or I'll do 0.5 or 0.3 mile. And that's the range right there. That white line right there is about 0.3 miles. So you can zoom in and zoom out. You say, okay, that's 0.8 miles now. So I know from here to here, it's about 3 of those lines, it's about 2.4 miles. But these are the zoom in and out, so out and in. So I keep it zoomed, usually whatever range I need. But it's mounted up, and those are the most common buttons I push. Use the out and in. I zoom out real quick and say, okay, we're gonna be headed east or west, or I use the arrow and kind of move it a little bit to look what's coming up, to see how far there is between the next town, things like that. And then you hit quit, and that takes you back to center. So those are the most common things. I can do that one-handed while I'm riding. I can just reach over with my left hand while I've got the gas on. I can hit in and out, and I can zoom up and down real quick, so I can move the map up. I can move it back down. I say, okay, I've seen what I need to, and then I hit quit, and it centers me again. Now, to move files between the computer and this GPS, you're gonna have to have the files saved on your computer. So let's say you got your computer, plug this into your computer, you have the files that are saved on your computer, the GPX files, and all you gotta do is copy and paste the GPX files from your computer, drag it into the folder for your GPS. When you have this plugged into the computer, it's going to show a few different files, or a few different folders. One of the folders is going to have probably 15 different folders in it. One of those is going to be GPX files. So open that GPX file folder on the GPS, copy and paste your GPX files from your computer to your GPS. Now the way to find them, you're going to go, this is your menu toggle down here. So you got your basic pages, and you can change this to which ones show up, but you can go to main menu, your altimeter, your trip computer, your compass, messages if you have the InReach, and then your map, back to your map. The compass is really useful because, or sorry, the trip computer is really useful because you can use that as a speedometer if your speedometer is not accurate. It also does an odometer, tells you how far you've gone. Distance to your destination is pretty good if you got a few different tracks loaded. ETA, that's pretty good. It's not something I'm used to. And then your averages, and then another really good thing, I think you can set this up to show sunset. So especially when you're camping, you want to see when the sunset is and be able to calculate off of that. But anyway, we're gonna go to the main menu to find these routes. So main menu, your setup is where you can change all that stuff. And actually, another feature in here, setup display. When you're riding, you got to be able to see it. So it may kind of drain the battery, but I like for the backlight to be on for at least a minute. So I'm gonna change that to a minute, and I just kind of reset the backlight by zooming in and out every couple minutes. So let's go back. We're gonna go to, oh, this is still in setup. Go back again. I'm gonna go to saved tracks right here. And then these are all of the files that I loaded onto the GPS. One thing, when you're loading a GPX file, a lot of times it's too big. It'll be one file on your computer, but it loads on your GPS as several different ones. So the ones I'm gonna be working with are these here at the bottom. POS, Pacific Ocean Spur. So this one had 12 sections. And when you put the file onto the GPS, all 12 of these will automatically load and separate. But when you're using these, you have to show each one individually on the map. So let's see. I'm going to start down here with 12. So I'm going to hit enter. On this GPS, it has a really good feature where it shows you the track distance. So this one's about 9 miles. And it shows you ascent, descent, and then your elevations at the max and minimum. So that's a really good feature. It also has this little feature right here that lets you kind of preview it. Once you're in this window, you can preview, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can say, okay, that's right on the coast on, you know, Highway 101 right here. You can zoom out, you know, you can move it around and everything. And then just like normal, when you hit quit, it's going to go back to the preview view right here, and you're still toggling within this map, within this route. Another good thing is that it shows you the elevation. So if you're following this, you can be like, okay, we have a huge elevation gain right here. That kind of drops off after that. It's just a cool feature. But to show it on the map, you're gonna go to menu, right down here, menu, and then you got all these different options. I'm just gonna click show it on map, and that little blue icon pops up right there. And when you go back, you hit quit, you'll see those blue icons on all of these that I've loaded up. So everything with a blue icon is showing on the map right now. So I have all of those already showing. Another thing, let's go back into this one. If you do menu again, you can set the color differently. So this is really good if you say, okay, if you upload 4 sections of a track and you say, I only want to do the first one and then I want to stop for a break, you might want to change the color of the second section to, you know, a purple line or a blue line. So, you know, while you're riding, you say, now I'm on the purple line. Okay, it's time to take a break. So that's really good to see like where everything divides, and it also helps you calculate your distance if you know the distance of each track line. But I'm just going to keep it as is. And then I'm going to show what it looks like on the map. So hitting quit. Now we're toggling to the map. Okay, and these are all, I'm in South Carolina, but all these maps are loading in Oregon. So I got to zoom way out. Travel across the US. Okay. And you can kind of see that blue squiggly right there in Oregon. Move my mouse over it. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. So here it is showing on the map. So all those sections that I've selected are all showing right there on the map. There's that blue squiggly, kind of follows through all the way to the coast. You'll notice that this doesn't show a start and finish because these are just showing on the map instead of like actually loaded onto the map. So to change that, let's go back to the main menu, go back to save tracks. Now, all right, so let's go back to 11 right here. This is a pretty long one, it's 50 miles or so. If you just hit enter from here, then it's going to load it and it's going to have a flag on the map that shows start and finish. So we'll load that up. Oh, sorry, you have to do it from here, from this page. So there's like the go right there, and that's if you hit enter. And so now if we zoom out, go find it again. So as I zoom in, you can see there's flags right there that show the start and finish. So when you have one selected, see all these, let's see. So the blue line is still showing right here. You can see with the mouse. The resolution's not great on this camera, but you can see there's a flag right here. That's the finish, and it marks it because we loaded that track now. There's just a flag right here that marks the beginning. So I think, I haven't used this GPS before, but I think if you're on that track, it'll estimate the time for you to the end point when you're in the trip calculator or the trip computer. So let's see, distance to destination, it tells you right there we're 2,700 miles away. But if you were closer, then it should tell you. And then ETA, I think that would update too and say, okay, based on your average speed and where you are on the track, this is when you should get there. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty good feature. Just gonna show some other features on here on the main menu. So there's the setup. There's this. You can sync this GPS to your phone. You can sync it. I think you can sync it to your computer and everything. You can store contacts in here, which is a great feature, because if you're out traveling, and you don't have your phone or whatever, you can enter a contact in here and keep a phone number if you meet somebody along the way. It's a pretty good feature to have. Tracking. This is an InReach version, which means that it's like the SOS emergency phone, basically. So this will call emergency services if you're in a bad situation. You have to flip this up and hold down that button right there, and it'll call SOS. And that's only if you are paying, you have the subscription and everything. But with that subscription, you can do tracking. This is just the settings for tracking. But on the main menu, you can turn on tracking, and that'll start at whatever interval you set it to. If it's every 10 minutes, it'll track your speed, your location, and the time, and then that kind of uploads it to a website or your account, and you can give people a link to that account so they can track you as you're moving. This also is where you can, from the main menu here, this is also where you can send messages to and from, just like you're texting with this thing. Weather. So I think you would have to connect this to your phone, but with InReach, you can see the weather here too, and so many times per pay period. Let's see what else. Save tracks, we already went over that. Active route. This is the route that I uploaded just a couple minutes ago, so that's what this is showing. A calendar, that's good, a good thing to have. Area calculation, I haven't used that before, but the sun and moon, that's a good one. That'll show you, if you click on here and you say, I want to know what time sunset and sunrise is on April 27th or April 20th, whatever, you can use that. That's a really good tool to have if you're outdoors. Alarm, flashlight. The flashlight actually seems pretty good. So let's see. Yeah, there's the flashlight. I know it's not dark in here, but it's a pretty good flashlight. And then you have different settings on here that you can set like a blink on it, so it flashes like that if you're trapped somewhere and you need a signal. It's pretty good. And then you also got SOS, but just a good thing to have. Obviously your map, trip computer, compass, and everything like that. But yeah, that's just some of the basic stuff that I've figured out with this one so far. I know there's plenty of more features on here, but that's just some of the basic stuff that I've figured out messing around with this for about 30 minutes. I'm upgraded. This is an upgrade from what I'm used to, which is about 15 years older. Way more features on here. From your buttons here, you have the find button, which when you do that, it's currently navigating to that track, so I can hit stop navigation, and then if I'm looking for something, I can find any of these points of interest or your saved tracks. Shopping on here, food and drink, fuel. It's really good for motorcycle transportation. You can, I guess this is just some features that are on here. Mark is another good one if you want to mark a position that you come back to. If you leave the trail, need to come back, whatever it is. So you can mark something, and then it's going to ask you to put in the information here. You'll have to go up and change the name of it so you know what you're looking at, and then just save it, and then that saves in your main menu. The other ones, you got the menu, map setup, change data fields, dashboard, all that stuff, and then page. This is another, so to navigate back and forth, the quit, that goes to the left, the bottom left button here goes to the left, and then your page button right here goes to the right. It's kind of confusing. Yeah, that's just some of the basics about it. So far it seems pretty good. I haven't been able to try it out and use it yet. Your charging port is back here. It's a USB mini right there. Close that up, and then your SOS that I already showed is right here. You have to hold that button down to activate it. And then this is where your SD card is stored. So when you're transferring files and everything, that, just like a camera, that micro SD card right there is what holds your files and your data and all of that. And I think you can actually put pictures on here. I don't really know why you'd want to do that, but you can put pictures on here, and there's a photo viewer here on the GPS. But that's where your card goes, is right there. And the GPX files really don't take up much space. I will say the InReach services, I've got an InReach Mini that I also use. The InReach services are pretty good. The tracking is awesome. You can go back and look at your tracks and everything. But this is just, if I had found this originally, I probably would have got this, just because it's the tracking and your GPS all in one. It's just one less thing you have to charge and keep up with and everything, and this has got a ton of features. So really cool. A bit difficult to learn some of the features, but a lot of good things about it once you do get used to it. If there's any questions or thoughts, whatever, put it in the comments. Thanks for watching.